Apparently, Trump was being trolled when he had a couple of white supremacists by his house. The inside story of Trump's explosive dinner with Ye and Nick Fuentes. Reminder, we've got Ye on Timcast coming up right after this. Just 2 days before Thanksgiving, Donald Trump was planning to have a private, uneventful dinner with an old friend. Ye, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West. The two had arranged to break bread on Tuesday night as Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Florida, or at Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Florida, after weeks of private phone conversations as Ye lost lucrative partnerships and became a mainstream cultural pariah for his anti-Semitic remarks, according to those familiar with the talks between the two men. But Trump may have been walking into a trap in Mar-a-Lago's gilded halls, one that leveraged his own penchant for spectacle and showmanship against him. Ye arrived with 3 guests, including white nationalist and anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. Trump has since said he didn't know Fuentes or his background when they dined together, a claim Fuentes confirmed in an interview. But others at the crowded members-only club figured out his identity. News of the meeting prompted an avalanche of criticism from some Republican rivals and allies of Trump and his then week-old presidential campaign. Once again, the Secret Service is going to do a background check on anyone who is around Trump. Oh, he's a nice person. Once again, reminding everybody who might not be familiar with Nick Fuentes, who Nick Fuentes is. I've had a run-in with his people. This is what the motherfucker looks like. Sure looks like a nice kid. Looks like a chud. In damage control, Trump's campaign is now instituting new vetting procedures and gatekeeping efforts as details emerge about how Fuentes and the former president found themselves at the same table. The uproar underscores long-standing issues with Trump as Republicans consider whether they want him back as president again in 2024. Both his campaigns and his administration were often characterized by chaos and buffeted? Yeah, buffet, it's the past tense, but tell me how to...
Buffeted.
Buffeted. Buffeted. Might get the buffeted cancer. God will put a buffeted cancer. God will put a cancer in your buffeted. I'm sorry.
God's gonna put a cancer in the
You're buffeted.
God's gonna put...
Yeah, apparently Nick Fuentes was running Marjorie Taylor Greene's Twitter or some shit. The headline grabbing attention on his guests and therefore the subsequent fallout were all but ensured by Trump before the dinner when he made a grand entrance at about 8 p.m. to meet his guests. We saw everybody in the dining room get up and start applauding, and then the president entered. Fuentes told NBC News he greeted us and he invited Ye into dinner, and Ye said that he wanted to bring us with him to the table. So we walked in and Ye took some pictures with some of the guests in the dining room, and then we sat down at the table. Trump made sure they sat at his specifically reserved table on the patio for all to see, according to Fuentes. But the dinner wasn't the happy photo op the president had planned. Ye criticized Trump for not doing enough to help pay the legal bills of those arrested in the January 6th Capitol riots, as if Trump gives a shit about them. And he also told Trump he might run for president against him. Apparently Kanye has already declared, and said Trump should instead be his running mate, all of which angered the big baby, who attacked Ye's ex-wife Kim Kardashian, according to 2 dinner participants, and Ye, who blasted out of Mar-a-Lago debriefed, blasted out a Mar-a-Lago debrief video to his 32.2 million follow. Wait, there's a video. Ooh, let's watch it. Hit me with it, Kanye. Is it the video?
I think the thing that Trump was most perturbed about, me asking him to be my vice president, I think that was like lower on the list of things that caught him off guard. It was the fact that I walked in with intelligence. So Trump is really impressed with Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes, unlike so many of the lawyers and so many people that he was left with on his 2020 campaign, he's actually a loyalist. When he didn't know what the lawyers is, you'll still have your lawyer list. And when all the lawyers said, forget it, Trump's done, there were loyalists running up in the White House, right? And my question would be, why, when you had the chance, did you not free the January 6ers? And I came to him as someone who loves Trump, and I said, go and get Corey back. Go and get these people that the media tried to cancel and told you to step away from. He basically gives me this would-be mob-esque kind of story, talking to some kid from the south side of Chicago trying to sound mobby or whatever. He goes into the story about all that he went through to get Alice Johnson out of jail and how he didn't do it for Kim, but he did it for...
Well, I mean, if anything, it splinters the right because, like, the Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire types, they're, like, completely against, on the surface, against anti-Semites. Like Nick Fuentes.
For me. But then he goes on to say that Kim is a you could tell her I said that. And I was thinking, like, that's the mother of my children. Since we know that Kim is a you could tell her I said that. And
it sounded like he said disgusting human being.
But he did it for me. But then he goes on to say that Kim is a you could tell her I said that. And I was thinking, like, that's the mother.
Why would you bleep that?
Since we know, and all the
he didn't come up with a fun nickname for her? Come on, man, what the fuck?
Come on, man.
Christians in America that love Trump know that Trump is a conservative. We're going to demand that you hold all policies directly to the Bible. When Trump started basically screaming at me at the table, telling me I was going to lose, I mean, has that ever worked for anyone in history?
You're going to lose. Tell him he's going to lose.
I'm like, well, hold on, Trump. You're talking to Ye.
Yeah, you're talking to Ye. Apparently Trump called a very troubled man. All right, this is the main event for the night. I've got my hair up in a bun. I'm gonna take my hair down for this one. The hair comes down for this story. Kanye, Nick Fuentes, and I believe Milo were all on with Tim Pool last night. I believe this stream was going on as my stream was going on. We touched on it because apparently Kanye said some really anti-Semitic shit. But I don't think we really got into it. So here we go. We're going to watch about the first 20 minutes of last night's Timcast. If we can get through it, because apparently Kanye throws a hissy fit and sparks fly, so this should be fun.
Is now going on for over a week, which is in many ways unheard of. But right now, because Donald Trump went to dinner with Ye and Nick Fuentes, among others, he is now being denounced by Mike Pence, several Republican senators, and for whatever reason, this story, for many reasons I suppose people have made, this story has persisted till today. And we are able to actually sit down with several of the individuals involved in that story, notably Ye, Nick Fuentes, and Milo Yiannopoulos, of course, who made the dinner happen. It's my understanding, or at least got the.
I had the dinner invite.
Oh wait a minute, I was wrong.
Okay, my bad.
I said earlier that Nick Fuentes was running Marjorie Taylor Greene's Twitter, but apparently it was Milo. Milo was running her Twitter. I need to correct myself on that.
So we're gonna jump right into this
I just
story.
overcomplicated it.
Absolutely. So we're gonna start with that. And there's a lot we want to talk about. And you know what, man? This is a very big story. A lot of people have questions about, what were Trump's intentions? Why were certain people invited?
Kanye's a pretty big get for
So a lot of people want to know
assume.
where he stands, and more importantly, what happened there and why. And there's also the questions about what Ye 24 means, and I'll keep that a little bit vague so that they can answer to that and speak more to that.
It means he's running for president in 2024.
However, head over to Tim.
It's not that ambiguous, motherfucker.
We're going to have a members-only uncensored show, which will probably get a bit more in-depth on a lot of other issues.
Fuck it will, motherfucker. Kanye gonna walk the fuck out on you.
And we'll talk about more there. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends.
Smash that like button, motherfuckers. Follow if you're not following on Twitch. If you're in here lurking,
You did it.
share the video out with your fucking friends.
And, which you gentlemen would like to introduce yourself?
Nicholas, please.
Tell them to watch. Tell them to watch the butthole episode.
Nick Fuentes,
This is the
first time
butthole
here on the
episode.
Timcast. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Speaking of buttholes, look at that butthole,
I'm a
Nick
live
Fuentes.
streamer. I do a show called America First on cozy.tv.
All right. And of course, Milo, you were here a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I'm your best ever guest.
So we've been told that
Probably.
you was one of the best podcasts ever. People really enjoyed hearing you speak.
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks for coming back.
Thanks. I was wondering how I was going to make it even more extraordinary the second time I visited, but I think I might have pulled it off.
Total sausage fest tonight. Welcome. My name is Zukardowski of wearechange.org.
Epstein didn't Epstein himself.
Didn't Epstein himself t-shirt, which you could get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And I think we should be using that word a little bit more, just like, this YouTube channel didn't Epstein itself. And if this YouTube channel is Epsteined, we will be streaming on Twitter. So yeah, I started a t-shirt company after YouTube demonetized me. So thebestpoliticalshirts.com, because you guys buy it. That's why I'm here.
So is this whole thing going to break up Milo and Tim Pool?
Pleasure, guys.
All right. And I'll just pull up this story from The Hill, which is from earlier today, 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. This, of
Tim
course, is
Pool's like,
related
hey,
to
let
a
me invite you
that
to dinner.
happened, And I was wrong a little on the details. So a dinner happened. Nick, you were there. Ye, you were there. I just want to start off by, how did this dinner come to happen, and what happened?
I was talking to Trump for about a month. We had scheduled the dinner in October, and then he announced for president. He pushed the dinner back to November. And I've been pulling together a campaign, and after I put up...
I would be excited if I had Kanye on, especially right now. Kanye, you are totally welcome to come on the Troll Patrol. I would take great pleasure in the fact that you will definitely storm off if you're on the Troll Patrol, probably in far less time than it took you to storm off from Tim Pool.
Up the DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that have been canceled, like Alex Jones. I started getting in contact with other people that were now on the inside of the matrix. And Alex Jones, producer, said that Milo wanted to contact me. And here we are.
So that's how you guys got in contact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, originally. And then I suggested that we bring in Nicholas as a enormous brain firepower that he is. It's most extraordinarily brilliant.
Good. If I have Kanye on, I'll make some money.
And he's been treated just about as badly as anybody, so I thought he deserved to be in the room too. And yeah, that's pretty much how we got together.
So I have some questions about that, but we'll get through the dinner portion of how exactly this happened, what went down. So this is how you get in contact, the three of you. How is it that Nick ends up invited to this dinner, and what happened?
Well, he was rolling with me. I was impressed with Nick, and I was like, just come to the dinner. And we had Karen Giorno.
He was just rolling with him.
And there was a lot of back and forth. There's another gentleman named Jamar Montgomery that was with us. It's a
fucking Jamar. It's always Jamar.
And his, was it?
I'm telling him just we should raise everyone's volume.
Okay, cool. And we sat there, and it was like when Trump came in, I said, do you want to sit alone? He's like, no, bring your friends in. So a big thing is like Trump had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. But this whole, I just got to go right to the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening. This is something, if you read the definition,
we getting on something
it says
now.
You can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish, or you're anti-Semitic. And that's the truth. Like, it's the truth. What are we talking about? And
elaborate. What do you mean? You mean?
I'm saying, like, I've been labeled anti-Semite, right? So there's different beliefs about our bloodlines, you know, like the documentary that Kyrie posted. And
you ain't Jewish, dude.
America has been left ignorant and history has been changed. So when we start questioning things that question the indoctrination, then you immediately get, you know, you said debanked, or what did you say happened to you? Or
demonetized, deplatformed.
Demonized, demonetized. And what's so beautiful about this time is everyone got to see what's really been happening.
Buddy,
And
everyone
now we
sees
can
what has
really
been
understand.
happening.
We can see that Ron Emanuel.
Sir. We know what anti-Semitic tropes are like. We know where they lead. This has been going on for centuries. I don't think you're aware of it.
Well, was right next to Obama, and then Jared Kushner was right next to Trump.
But so we're getting right into it, I guess, right? I was hoping to go for the news first before we got into all of this stuff. I think the issue is,
what does that prove?
Is you're expounding upon a localization issue that you've witnessed, right? Let me clarify.
And is he saying that Trump is influenced by the Jews?
Associate Judaism with the power, whereas I view that as not relevant to it. Like, yeah, you're substantially more powerful than I am, but I don't view what you're doing as an issue of black people.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the term the black vote? So it's okay to put us in one net, but it's not okay for me to put them in one net.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's the basis of the hypocrisy that people have been thinking about and knowing about and realizing for decades. We were all wondering how this dam was going to break. Everybody in the country was wondering, what is the root of this hypocrisy? Why can people talk about white people a certain way? Why can't they talk about that group a certain way? And the wretched and wicked and oppressive prevailing orthodoxy of cancel culture, well, it turned out that the one thing that was going to break the dam was the biggest star in the world, and it took the biggest star in the world to do it.
Kanye is not the biggest star in the world.
And now the dam is broken.
So let me tell you my issue. I don't like.
I'm sure you got to say that around him, though.
That is.
Well, they started it, and they've been visiting on us. We're trying to break it.
When I was asking you about running for president, you immediately said, well, you know, you'd be good for the black vote. And I said, is that because I'm black? No, not just because of that. So is that. Are you doing the same thing?
I didn't say that was the only reason. I said it was because you're personable to the common person, and you probably would do well.
No, he's not.
Just because I'm black, because a lot of black people don't like me.
Of course, I think race plays a role in a lot of things, absolutely, and I think that's for.
I think the construct of race has really been forced upon us as just something for us to be woke about and just constantly talk about and use it as these like walls.
Couldn't you say the same thing about Judaism?
Well, let's look at the facts of what I'm saying, though. If you say in this neighborhood where they gerrymander, there's this amount of time. So, hey, I wasn't doing that. I was just gerrymandering the lawyers and the Hollywood executives and the people at the bank that
I don't think he knows what gerrymandering means.
You know, it's like we want to jump into protecting the idea that we can't put a net around something, right? But that's been my job as a producer, to take, you know, a Roy Ayers sample and put a James Brown drum and put it within a 2-minute, 3-minute song. That's the way I actually think, and that's the way I talk. And now this morning I found out that they were trying to put me in prison because what they did was I moved $140 million into JP Morgan. And I said, I want to talk to Jamie Dimon. Like, look at me. I'm just going in naive, you know, multi-billionaire. Like, maybe Jamie Dimon will let me in on some deal flow. Wrong. And I'm just like banging my hands like, I want to meet with Jamie. And I start complaining online. And then they
That's some entitlement.
For complaining. And so I'm about to get debanked. They're like, you need to go to Trump's, the bank, AXO, whatever, you got to go. And I'm like, I've been trying to buy my own bank for the longest. And then we figured out how to get my own bank. It's like 50 million, 75 million. So I'm about to buy my own bank. But then as they're about to take the money out, here comes Adidas with a $275 million bill for marketing funds that they agreed upon. Because I said to them, hey, I'm the marketing, give me the marketing fund, which proves by the response they got when they, you know, stole the designs and said, we're going to not call them Yeezys anymore. So this is what I was already fighting Adidas for. So I'm fighting Gap, get out of Gap, fighting Adidas. And then I deal with this little bit of noise from, you know, Zionism from the fashion world where they use this.
This is all a personal grievance.
Who's obviously like some kind of CIA agent, knows nothing about fashion. This is
Look at me. I'm the marketing now.
Dress, you know that they're not like a fashion person. They're just there as like the society, like the control that they try to use with celebrities, which has now been broken, right? Because you know where it broke. Okay. I want to get on like LeBron in a second. But I'm going to come back to this and just talk about this morning where, you know, I'm not going to mention her name because she's a nice lady, but someone at Cohen Resnick tells me, and I tell all of my.
Yeah, he is so goddamn
use the
dumb.
term a lot. But they said, okay, you're going to have to pay a lot of taxes. And that made me feel like they're just like waiting, like we finally got him. We finally can put him in jail. And I was like, can I still run for president in jail? I found out I could. So I was like, okay, that's fine then. It'll be okay.
But if you were Jeffrey Epstein, they wouldn't touch your bank account. They would allow you to break the rules, regulations, just like JP Morgan and Chase did, just like Deutsche Bank did. So there is an issue to bring up with that. But when it comes to the race stuff, I think this is an important discussion to have because I
have to complete this thought. You guys got to.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, because I'm talking
Don't cut
about
Ye off.
finding out that they were trying to put me in prison this morning. Watch this. So
This morning.
yes. So not come to my house this morning, but I found out, okay, so they put a $75 million hold on 4 of my accounts. And then they said, you owe a lot of taxes. Took me like 6 hours to find out how much a lot was. They said, well, around $50 million. Now I'm going to different CFOs like, okay, so would this be tax evasion? Because I'm obviously not the most financially literate person on the planet. I was just a child.
You're not like, the most literate person on the planet.
Famous, you stop growing at that point. I became famous.
Far from it.
And I had handlers around. I had my mom around, different things. And it was always like you go from one handler to the next handler to the next handler. So now I'm having, I get to actually learn how to run a company. I get to learn how to, to count. Really, I was like Pablo in a movie. It was like I didn't even.
Somewhere, Elon Musk is having the same exact conversation and is telling people the exact same thing Kanye is saying right now.
Know where to put the money, like literally making $300 million cash, but you're just like
find out how to run a company.
You know, we're not going to use the S word just because it's just like too passe to use it. But it's like next year I was supposed to make $500 million in royalties. And like, no one needs this amount of money. But when I would work on homeless shelters and ideas, I'd have a contractor, we won't say what race, and they'd be tearing down the contracts. It's all about, position. It's not about the amount of money that you have. And, to come in here, I feel like it's a setup to be like defending. I'm not going to go through another, like I'm literally going to walk the F off the show if I'm sitting up here having a, talk about, you can't say that it was Jewish people that did it when every sensible person knows that. I mean, Jon Stewart knows.
Guys, we're coming up on the part where he walks off and Tim Pool hasn't even really said anything to him. And he has let Kanye just like ramble on, and Kanye is getting mad at Tim Pool.
what happened to me, and they took it too far. It was like American History X. Like my head was on the side of the curve, and the exact people that I called out kicked my head. We found out that my trainer was a MK Ultra Canadian intelligence.
He worked in the defense research and development in the Canadian military, essentially working on psyops
Who's
in
this
the
guy?
Canadian military. This is Harley Pasternak.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, look, they tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me, and they when I asked them how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly, it took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears too. I mean, look at
They would have Michael Jackson.
or worse, yeah.
So look at
what they did. Look at what they did to Britney. When she went in, she was tired, she was exhausted, she was in a bad way. But 10 years of that medication wrecked her brain. You can see it now.
Yeah.
You can see there's not much of her left.
You mentioned Pasternak was the name?
No, she has stunted development because she became a star when she was a teenager. Leave Britney alone, Milo.
Yes, Harley Pasternak. That's the text message that you posted that we were talking about before.
Here's
That's the lobotomy
look,
threat. You know?
Yeah.
Before the show, obviously, I'm getting a bunch of messages from people. People are hitting me up, and they're like, "You shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic. They're white supremacists. They're racist." I do find the idea. I do find it funny or weird, or whatever. That Nick, they call you a white supremacist. You're here working with or for one of the most powerful black men, one of the wealthiest and most famous. But a lot of people were saying on the right specifically, don't platform them. And I said, well, I want to understand what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. They're involved in what may be the biggest news story of the past week. And
Ye probably needs a
The
conservatorship.
red media controls both sides. It just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump. Ron Emanuel was next to Obama.
But see,
since 1940, go ahead.
I was going to say, isn't that an issue of these individuals? Like you're extrapolating.
I'm not having. I'm going to order with the last of my money that's available in a different account. I'm going to order a PJ before I sit and have another Lex Friedman setup conversation. When I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion.
But I get that.
I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about people. Those are bots that are trying to tell you. We realize, look at Pence. He sold Trump out. You get what I'm saying? It's like I would have never wanted to do anything that hurt Trump. I'm on Trump's side. Trump said things that hurt me. He lied about me, but I mean, he's known for lying. And when people used to tell me that, he's a liar, it's like, I went into the trenches for Trump. That's another conversation. There was no one in my position that wore that hat. And all of my surroundings exhausted me. It was like death by 1,000 questions. I know I'm jumping to another thing, but what I'm saying is, I know you got a rep for your people online, but it's you got a person in real life that I'm not with it, bro. I lost the money for the freedom of speech, and that's what makes me the only American that we know that really deserves to run the country, because everyone else, your boy DeSantis, Trump, whoever they raise in a petri dish over on the Democrat side is going to play the game.
Look,
and,
here's what I was trying to get to. You went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start,
Curdy, good evening.
My opinion on it, I'm gonna disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it.
But
I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care about anybody's opinion, bro. I lost. They tried to put me in jail. They blocked $2 billion I had. Like what I told Farrakhan, I said, look, is it anti-Semitic for me to say his name out loud? Like I told
minister.
Yeah, the minister. Like I told
Obama met with him too.
Oh, he was. Yeah, I mean the Jewish people allowed Obama to meet with the minister. So
allowed him.
The money, the contract for the next 4 years, if I hadn't done anything, would have been $500 million a year for 4 years. What I was fighting for was the IP, so my children could.
I have no clue what he's been saying the entire time.
7 thoughts at one time. Because anything I see, I come up with like 7 answers to it and then just choose what it is. But the thing is, when I said my children, the reason why
he walks off any minute now.
Blocked, because it's like God is saying, your children are going to be okay.
Any second now.
Got money, right? God is using me. He's breaking me down, removing all of the, richest person, all of this, so I can serve him. And the more and more those things are taken away from me, the more I can be empty and be a vessel and be able to be used. And right now, it's like, you're not going to take...
He thinks he's Job.
You're not going to take my pain away, right? The Jewish people say, it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away. No one's going to denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up. That's what, because every time I'm just holding stride, and it's like, I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more MLK, because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press and financially, I'm just
He just compared himself to like the Holocaust and MLK getting assassinated.
It was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost, but I still walked in stride through it. Yeah,
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who was they though? We can't say who they is,
corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using the. I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking about.
It is them though, isn't it? I mean, because
No.
because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then
Have
think
the
we're not going
discussion.
to have a
Like,
conversation?
have the discussion.
Like you think Ye's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering. I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people. And I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider it? So I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
Make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it. Luke and I will have a conversation. So I can't say.
Milo's got to go check on the baby.
What do I even do? Other than ask him, please elaborate on this. Are you referring to individuals, or are you quite literally blaming an entire group of people for the fact that powerful individuals are causing you harm?
I really wanted to ask Nick about his thoughts about MLK, because I know they contradict his comments about that. But again, these are mass generalizations that don't really help anyone in my perspective. They just kind of sound like their opposition. They sound what they're kind of going against, the woke mob that's always saying white men are responsible for everything. When I see people just use generalizations, it kind of cheapens the conversations. It cheapens a dialogue that we could have here that I was planning to talk to Ye about, specifically bringing up like, hey, let's
want to talk about Epstein
in a real concise way. Let's not get emotional. Let's not walk out of here. Let's actually
let me
control
tell all you
ourselves.
guys outright. I said this is going to be a big issue. Before the show, obviously, people are going to bring up the questions of anti-Semitism. Why don't we talk about the news? I want to hear what happened with this meeting. I want to understand what Ye 24 is, and then we can do a longer conversation about any of that stuff. And Ye, literally in the first 5 minutes, says, no, I want to talk about a group of people and point to them. Whatever, man. You want to know why? Look, you're not going to sit here and you're going to walk out of the room. You're free to do so, man. But literally, I said a couple sentences about, I don't think that's fair. Did I insult the man? He seriously can't handle. He can't handle it.
He also
he can't handle anything, Tim.
He did, but he came back. So again, we should be able to have this conversation.
I do not think he comes back.
Yeah.
Look, man.
I am pretty sure that there is no Kanye the rest of the interview.
I want to know what happened with the dinner, because we hear a lot of rumors about it.
I want to hear about their 2024 platform, which they were promising, which they were talking about, like they're going to be officially.
Let me explain to everybody that, unfortunate they walked out. Fine. Maybe they'll come back, whatever. This is the biggest challenge with dealing with identitarianism.
Did Milo and Fuentes leave too?
The predeterminate factor in someone's worth, value, or agenda is based on immutable.
Because I was going to stick around for Fuentes talking to Poole, but apparently Fuentes is rotting, because I didn't see Fuentes pop up again either.
The joke about Jewish people in Hollywood, and he said, "But it doesn't mean anything. You got a lot of black people in Ferguson, doesn't mean they run the place." The point is, I'm all about individualism, meritocracy, personal responsibility. That means an individual of any background can be capable of anything.
Sure you are, Tim. My God. Well, that was something. Wasn't as fun as cancer in the butthole, though.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the
cow. Good evening.
Every sodomite's butthole.
Yeah, Fuentes started to talk and Ye cut him off. But I thought Fuentes might stick around and say something. Have you heard the freaking news? YouTube, Facebook, and all of big tech are trying to do a cancel culture on JustinFREAKIN.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Help the channel stay alive and grow by subscribing or following, and be sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the fun, even when one platform tries to shut us up.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
If you haven't to spare and really want to show support, consider subbing on Twitch, becoming a patron, or a member on YouTube. You'll get access to extra delights and debauchery, and you'll have my eternal appreciation. Thank you for being a freaking follower, and have a great freaking day.